Here now is Republican Congressman Trent Franks from Arizona. He is a member of the House Freedom Caucus. Good to see you, Congressman. So the Senate dropped the ball on health care reform, but they're kind of making up for it by putting the individual mandate, or taking the individual mandate into the tax bill, their version of the tax bill. Would the House do the same?
Oh, I think we would embrace that in a heartbeat, and I'm glad to see that they've done this. You know, I've said many times that ObamaCare is the policy equivalent of the Hindenburg. We can't do it any damage, essentially. It's already a complete and utter disaster. And I think that this is a move in the right direction. I think it'll make the tax bill a much better bill. And I have to suggest to you, just be very honest, I didn't think that there was really a real possibility of doing this, and I'm very encouraged that we are.
All right, well, we're looking at some of the differences between the House bill and the Senate bill, and frankly, there are a lot of things about the Senate bill that are discouraging to those of us who wanted a simpler tax bill, like keeping the 7 tax brackets. If you're going to have a simpler tax code, you need to cut those tax brackets. You guys cut it down to 4, which frankly wasn't that much, but they put it back up to 7 tax brackets. Are you okay with that?
Well, no, I'm in total agreement with you, sir. I think that we need to simplify this. The good news is, because we're in reconciliation and because a tax bill fits through the Byrd rule, we have the planets lining up here where we might actually, for once in a long time, have a true conference committee between the 2 houses. That's how we teach 4th graders that we do this in this country, right. And we might actually do it. So I think that there's a good chance that we can rectify some of the Senate shortcomings and embrace some of the things that they've done to improve it.
Well, as we are speaking, President Trump is flying back from Asia. There is word that he's going to be meeting with House Republicans on Thursday after he gets back. Can you confirm or deny this?
Is that a confidential thing, or if I'm just going to go ahead and say that as far as I know, that's not confidential, and yes, that's the plan.
Okay, excellent. What do you think the president is going to do? I mean, will he say, in fact, he's not happy that the Senate plan has too many complicating elements in it?
Well, I think he will be more in line with on that particular issue with the House than he will the Senate. But I'm just of the great hope that the momentum here is going to carry us into a conference committee where we will really, truly find the best of both worlds. And that's what it's all about. You know, there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors. A guy named Solomon said that a long time ago, and he's considered fairly bright still, in at least in retrospect. So I'm very hopeful. And I think that we do need to cut down the number of tax brackets. Simplicity is a wonderful thing. The idea that most Americans can fill out their tax return on a postcard is something that is so long overdue in this country.
Simplicity is a wonderful thing, but so is money. And in fact, if some of us are paying a lot more than they were before, that's going to be a problem. Are you worried about some of those elements of the tax plan that might end up costing people more, or might delay the tax cuts as the Senate plan does?
Of course I am. You know, Einstein said, make things as simple as you can, but no simpler. And in this case, maybe we have to be especially careful. But I do believe that at least the administration has signaled that we're going to try to keep these rates where they are, the 20% for the corporate rate. And I'm hopeful, and I think that the repeal of the individual mandate of ObamaCare is going to be a tremendous addition, and also give us some greater flexibility as to being able to fix some of the other problems.
By the way, you picked up some votes in the Senate. Senator Murkowski is now apparently going to vote in favor of tax reform. Some people are looking at an issue that has been of great concern to her, the oil drilling in Anwar in the reserve. That is apparently going to be reconciled now in the tax bill. Was her vote bought by that addition?
Well, I don't know. If we can drill in Anwar, it's a very good thing for America. That has potentially the same kind of reserves for America that the kind of oil that we get from Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's a big deal. And incidentally, this is important to keep in mind. The part of Anwar that we would drill, if you consider it in comparison to the entire reserve, it would be like the size of a postage stamp on a football field.
I understand, and it might have happened anyway because of the president's commitment to energy in this country, making it a major positive factor. However, the fact that it's going to be reconciled with the tax bill, and it's on that news that we find out that she's voting for the tax bill, it kind of sounds like a little horse trading is going on.
Well, it may be. I mean, you know, the way they got Obamacare was the Louisiana Purchase and the Cornhusker kickback. Those were negative things. If we can add positive things to this bill and make it a stronger, better bill for America, and it pulls a few senators on board, I'm all for that. In fact, that's one of the things that usually we run into trouble in the Byrd rule in the Senate is it takes away this lateral negotiating capability. In fact, that's probably the first question I would ask. Are they sure putting Anwar in this deal will not be birded out? Because the Senate rules pretty much are put in place to make it impossible to do anything of consequence.
That's the way things are done inside the Beltway. Congressman Trent Franks, good to see you, Congressman. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Melissa.